Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we are going to look into Bedrock farming. Bedrock is kinda hard to farm, but not impossible. Well, actually, there is one issue that makes Bedrock farming difficult. The confusion about what is Bedrock. Some people would expect the good old Bedrock block that we all know and love, while some people talk about the real Bedrock, not clickbait. And some are talking about the Bedrock edition. I know this is all very confusing, but don't worry. Today we will resolve all that confusion once and for all by creating the Ultimate Bedrock Factory that will farm all three types of Bedrock at once. We will start by building the factory building because you don't want your factory to look ugly. Factories are usually made of bricks, so that's what I'm gonna use for mine. And as you can see, we have quite a number of bricks we can choose from in the game. Once you know what you want your factory to look like, start by building it. Make it as big as you want, it does not really matter, that's up to you to decide. Don't worry about running out of space, we won't need that much.
3 weeks later.
Once the factory is finished, we can start adding the actual farms. First, we will begin with the Bedrock block. There are multiple ways to farm Bedrock. Some are quite complex and require big setups with like chug safe sitting and like machines and fire and slime, but today we are going to take the easy road for once and build a really simple Bedrock farm. First, we will need to set up a wood farm, which is gonna give us planks that we will need for later. Nowadays we can use bamboo, which makes it quite simple. All we need is just some dirt with bamboo on top and a flying machine that will harvest all that. I'm gonna build a small 8x8 bamboo farm, but if you want to produce Bedrock faster, you can always build a larger one. We are just gonna encase all of this with furnaces cause it's pretty and some glass so that we create a little greenhouse for our bamboo to grow faster. We'll also put in some light to increase the greenhouse effect going on there, which will make sure that our bamboo stays nice and warm so it can grow faster. We can also light up the furnaces during winter to help keeping them warm. We also need to make sure to build some retainer walls that will catch any bamboo flying off the sides. And to trigger our flying machine, we will just use some observers looking at the bamboo inside, and they will power this crafter that the observer on the flying machine will observe powering up, starting the whole thing. I can't actually use an old block here, because it would stick to the machine and that would be no bueno. Also, a crafter is silent when powered, and it is very important to keep our farm as silent as possible. Now, how we gonna collect all that bamboo is actually quite simple. We'll just have some minecart going under all that, into some soul sand cart heaters, and just like that, we have bamboo delivered in one place. We just need to add some water to funnel these into a simple autocrafter setup that will turn them all into planks. We'll also need to add a barrel and a chest for storage, and we'll also use that barrel to stop the farm when it gets a bit too full. Slap a lever on there as well so we can choose to turn the farm off, and we are done with step 1. Now we will also need a bunch of stone. The first step is a cobblestone generator, and I think I found a perfect one for this. It's not too hard to build as you can see, so just be careful to follow exactly what I'm doing if you don't want the whole thing blowing up. Alright, I hope you followed closely. Like I said, not too hard to build, and as long as you followed exactly everything I did, it won't blow up. Now let's turn it on and see if it works. Look at that! I'm blown away. Alright, now that we have the cobble, we need to smelt it. We could use some of our bamboo for that, but I think we'll just build a quick carpet duper instead. You might not know that, but carpets are actually the best source of fuel in Minecraft. A single carpet can power your furnace for as long as a lava bucket. Really, I don't understand why no one is using them for their smelting needs, they are just the best. And it's quite easy, we just need some slime with a coral and some carpets. We make a wall around it to contain the items, and using furnaces on the first layer so they don't stick. Then, all we have to do is inject these carpets into a furnace and funnel the cobble into the furnace as well, and we are in business. Alright, now on to the last step before we can farm our bedrock. All we need to do is set up a simple sheep farm and we will be done. So that's quite easy, a couple pens for our sheep. Note that we have a bunch of grass around to make them think they are out in their natural habitat, otherwise they will get quite shy and won't want to produce wool. We also put in some light so we can see what we're doing in there, and then we add some dispensers and observers, and a way to ensure we will always have some shears in the dispensers, which is optional, but if you want your Bedrock factory to run for a long time, you are gonna need that. We are gonna use an autocrafter to craft iron into shears over here, and we'll add a chest of buffer for now, but don't worry, we'll hook it up to an iron farm later on. And that was the last item we needed to make our first bedrock. So now, as we all know, in order to make bedrock, you need both a bed and a rock. So we just have to autocraft our planks and wool into beds, and we then hook these beds into another crafter with our rocks. Oh wait, why isn't it working? It's working fine in the normal crafting bench. Come on Mojang, fix your game! Alright, in the meantime I just added a data pack to fix that, and now it's working. Our beautiful bedrock is getting produced. Yeah, so I don't know when Mojang is gonna fix that bug, really weird that it only worked in the normal crafting bench and not the crafter. In the meantime, you can grab the data pack in the description, and I will post an update when they fix that bug. So, that's one of the bedrock farms done. Now let's get going with the other ones. Time to farm some fake bedrock. That has to be the most versatile item in the game, allowing you to prank your friends, or make interesting escape rooms. Really, the most versatile of them all. You can't really use regular bedrock to prank your friends, like what are you gonna do with it? Put it in their house so they can't remove it? In case they respawn point with it? block their chests? No, I mean, let's get real. There's absolutely no way you can use real bedrock to prank your friends. Replacing some real bedrock with fake one is where the fun is at. Imagine your friend is going home after a good day of mining, only to phase through the fake grass and fake stone all the way through fake bedrock and into the void where they will lose all their items. That is truly the perfect prank. In order to pull that off, you'll first need to make a map of the block you want to make a fake of. Since this video is about bedrock farming, I will use the bedrock block map art. Once you have your map, all you need to do is duplicate it. To duplicate it, you obviously need to use a cartography table, as that is how we do anything with maps in Minecraft. We just need the map to duplicate and a blank map, and we can duplicate it this way. There's actually another way to duplicate maps using crafting table, but unfortunately we can't use that since crafting tables don't interact with hoppers. Which is ridiculous when you think of it, since every other table in the game has hopper interaction, even the fletching table. Come on Mojang, give us crafting table hopper interaction. Anyways, that's fine since we can use the cartography table. The first step to farm maps is to create a sugarcane farm. Quite easy, we just use roughly the same farm as the bamboo farm, with a few water holes, and we also need to make sure the roof is open so rain can fall into the farm, which will help the sugarcane grow faster. Now, we funnel all of that into some crafters that will produce paper for us. The last ingredient to make a map is a compass, which requires 2 other farms to build. First, an iron farm. So this is quite simple, a few villagers with beds and a zombie in a bubble column. We need to make sure that the zombie doesn't catch a cold from the water and dies, so make sure to give him leather boots to protect him, like we use for walking on powdered snow. Very important that they are leather and non-enchanted, otherwise it might not work. Now that we have iron golem spawning, we just add some lava and collect our iron. Note that we also get the poppies, which are usually the main item we want to collect when building an iron golem farm, but today exceptionally we are interested in iron instead, so we will filter them out. We will deposit some of the iron in this barrel that we will connect with a minecart track to the sheep farm to ensure there is always iron to craft more shears, and we can keep the rest to craft compasses. We are almost done with all these farms. The last one we need is a witch farm. So, to build a witch farm, we first need to create a witch hut. It needs to be exactly how they generate in the game, otherwise the witches will know and they won't come because they know it's a trap. So, there we go. I just finished building it, but no witches are spawning. I wonder if I did something wrong. Oh, that's it! I forgot the water in the cauldron. There we go, now the witches will be attracted to the hut we created, as they will think it's their home and we should start to see them spawning soon. And there we go, look at that, it's working. Okay, now that they have recognized this as their home, we can start to turn it into a farm and they won't see the difference. So, as you can see, I went for the shifting floor approach. I know that there are much faster ways to remove the witches, like using trapdoors and water, which is like the fastest way to push the witches out, but I was lazy so I did this instead. As you can see, it's not super fast, like it takes 1 to 3 seconds for the witch to fall from the top, so yeah, clearly not the best, but it will do. Then we have them fall into water collection area with a bunch of minecart at the bottom, which will kill them, and that's how they drop the redstone. Now we have all we need. So, we take the redstone and the iron, we funnel this into this crafter, which will craft a compass. Then we take these and put them into this crafter, which also has the paper, and we make some maps. Now the last bit. We take these maps, inject them on the side of the cartographer table, like for a furnace, then we put a hopper below to take the output, and on top we place a hopper with our original map that it will duplicate. And that's it! Now we place a chest and look at that! It's flowing in! Alright, that is 2 of the 3 bedrock farm done. Now let's take a look at the last one. And finally, the bedrock edition farm. This will actually be quite simple, as we already have most of what we need. First, go grab a high quality screenshot of the bedrock edition logo. Now, we just need to also duplicate this map using the same setup we made for the fake bedrock, so we'll just split up the flow of the blank maps and hook this half into another map duplicator, and voila! We just produced our first bedrock edition. Believe it or not, but this is actually all you need to get your own Minecraft bedrock edition, and you can even install it on your computer by following these very simple steps. Step 1. Print it so it gets a feel of the real world. Step 2. Scan it and open it on your computer to see if it was scanned properly. We are almost ready to open our copy of Minecraft Bedrock Edition. There is only 2 steps left. Don't worry, it's quite simple. Step 3. Learn to code in C++. As we all know, that's the language used to program the Bedrock Edition, so you need to learn it. It might take you a few years to reach a good level of C++ programming, so you better get started now. Now that you know how to program in C++, open a code editor and you need to write the game's code. Luckily, you don't have to start from scratch. We have the logo that was printed by our Bedrock Factory, and it has to be the one from the Bedrock Factory. If you find one on the internet, it will not work. Trust me, I already tested. Also, here's how to avoid a mistake that most new programmers do. Do not split your code in multiple files. Most people think that it helps them to organize the code like that so you can easily find a piece of code you want to change, but then you also need to remember in which file you wrote that piece of code. And that gets complicated when you have a lot of files, so just keep it all in one file. That way you always know that it will be somewhere in that file. Much easier. Once you have finished coding, you can run your game. And it works! Now, if you want to distribute your bedrock to your friends, You can just follow these steps again, and they will be able to enjoy it as well. Note that since you are recoding it every time, it's a bit like when I make cakes. I might be following the same recipe, but they don't all look the same. So, like for cakes, you check them all and keep the best one for yourself. And again, you have to recode it. You can't reuse the same code twice, like with cakes. Once you use the ingredients to make a cake, they are gone. You can just make another cake with them. You have to get new ones, obviously. What made you think you could reuse the same code? That is ridiculous. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the Bedrock Factory. If you did, leave a like and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye! If you are still here and wondering what the hell you just watched, you should maybe look at the date this video was posted. I'll see you next year for more.